Hello once again, guys. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a great day so far. So in this video today, we're going to be covering the 6 different streams of income that I've been able to build by the age of 26 years old. Now, this is actually a remake of a video that I did back in 2018 called How I Built 5 Streams of Income by age 23. Now, in that video, my 5 income streams were digital products, YouTube, Investing Simple, which is my personal finance blog that I own part of, as well as affiliate revenue and investments. So here we are 3 years later, and some of these income streams are the same, while others are totally different. And it's similar to that oil well analogy from that very first video that I made, talking about how income streams are basically like drilling an oil well, and you have to continue drilling new wells, otherwise the ones that you drilled previously might end up running dry. So that's what's happened here with myself, is over the last couple of years, some of those income streams or revenue streams from the past aren't necessarily making me a substantial amount of money today, but that is why I have different revenue streams altogether, and I continue building these out over time. And of course, we know that the average millionaire out there has about 7 different income streams, so in order to make a lot of money, you have to be diversified and making money from many different avenues. So that being said, here are my 6 income streams at the age of 26, starting off with number 1, which is rental income. So I purchased my first piece of real estate in 2019, which was a 3-unit multifamily property. And at the time, I was an owner-occupied real estate investor following the strategy of house hacking. Now, there was also a cottage on the property when I purchased it that needed to be completely redone. It basically just had plumbing and electrical and nothing else. So I ended up putting about 50 grand into that, and I remodeled that and turned that into an additional rental. So that effectively converted this property from a 3-unit to a 4-unit multifamily property. Now, when I made that video back in 2018, I didn't actually own any real estate at that point in time, so this is a new revenue stream for myself that I didn't have back in 2018. Now, since buying this property in 2019, after making all of those upgrades to that cottage, I went ahead and refinanced that property from an FHA loan over to a conventional loan, which significantly reduced my mortgage payment. I also decided to fully rent out that property, so now all 4 units there are rented, and I actually have an apartment in New York. My main residence is down in Miami right now. That's where I live for most of the year, and for tax purposes, that's where I'm based out of. But I do still keep an apartment in New York, and it's pretty cool because the rental income from that property pretty much covers my apartment rent. So the mortgage on this multifamily property here is $2,500 per month, and the total income from the rentals from those 4 units is $3,575. So this property is now cash flow positive, about $1,000 per month. However, in addition to that, it's important to remember that my entire mortgage payment is being covered by my rentals, and I still have that surplus $1,000. But out of every single mortgage payment, about $1,000 goes towards the principal, or the amount that I owe on the property. So that's really an additional $1,000 in my pocket of equity in that property. So owning this rental property effectively makes me around $2,000 per month. So the second income stream for myself is dividend income. Now, I invested heavily into dividend stocks in 2020 after the pandemic, and I had about a $200,000 dividend stock portfolio. Now, I ended up selling most of that off and reallocating that money into different investments. I also put a lot of money into some more smaller cap and concentrated bets. The most noteworthy position being Genius Brands. That's also the reason I have this beard here, because I decided I would be keeping this beard until that stock hits $5 per share. Now, obviously, guys, that hasn't panned out just yet, but we will see what happens here in 2022. I am certainly optimistic. But that being said, nonetheless, I do still have some dividend stock exposure through my investment in GLP or Global Partners. So here's my investment in Global Partners. Right now it's worth around $51,500, and I am actually up overall in this position, which is pretty awesome. Now, this is actually a limited partnership, and they're involved in the oil and gas business as well as convenience store operations in the Northeast. Now, the reason that I personally like this company is because of their new all-town fresh convenience stores, many of which have been rolled out in my neck of the woods in upstate New York. So this is a pretty sizable investment and my biggest dividend position. Now, this stock pays a dividend yield of around 10%, which is quite high. So that means I'm able to make just shy of about $5,000 per year in dividend income just from this position right here. And here you can see my most recent dividend payment earned from Global Partners, which was $1,198.04 that came through on November 12th, 2021. So this stock right here earns me 4 dividends every single year, amounting to roughly $5,000 annually. Now, in the future, I do plan on allocating more of my money into dividend stocks and most likely increasing my position in GLP. So I would expect to have this dividend income becoming a more substantial part of my overall income from my different revenue streams in the future. So next up, we have to talk about my third revenue stream here, which is the original one, which is my personal YouTube channel under Ryan Scribner here. So through this channel, I make money from Google ad revenue as well as affiliates and sponsorships. So if you haven't been following my channel for a while here, guys, I actually quit my job back in June of 2017 to focus full-time on this YouTube channel. However, over the last few years, I've been really focused on diversifying into many different online revenue streams and some offline revenue streams. That way, I'm just fully diversified, and if something were to happen to my channel, I would hopefully be largely unaffected because I have many other revenue streams to fall back on. So I've been doing YouTube now for over 5 years, and it's been a pretty consistent revenue stream, and things still seem to be on the up and up. But I have always wondered if channels like mine are built on sand pillars where pretty much an algorithm change could honestly, stop your channel from being shown to others. So hopefully that doesn't happen, and so far it hasn't, which is honestly great. So I can't actually share exact numbers for what this channel brings in revenue-wise, and that is because I might be closing on a potential business partnership with this channel, so I actually can't disclose those details right now, but this channel does bring in consistently over $10,000 of monthly revenue. So the fourth revenue stream is one that was the same from my video back in 2018. However, this revenue stream has grown tremendously since that video, and that is the Investing Simple blog. So back in 2018, one of my key steps in diversifying across different business models was building out this Investing Simple blog. And I wanted to create this standalone brand that really had nothing to do with my own personal YouTube channel. So the Investing Simple brand actually stemmed from an Instagram page that I had purchased back in 2018. I no longer own the page, but I do still own 43% of this blog, and I now have 2 business partners involved in this venture. And honestly, guys, this year, 2021, was absolutely insane for this blog. It honestly took a few years to get this blog off the ground, and there were multiple times when we didn't even know if it was going to stay afloat, because there was a point in time when this blog was actually losing us about $1,000 monthly. However, over time, by adding more articles and getting higher and higher domain authority, we've been able to really compete in the finance space and, do quite well with this blog here. So here's what the Investing Simple blog looks like. We basically do a lot of articles related to different investments. We do reviews and comparison content, things of that nature. Right now, the blog is getting around 2,500 hits a day. And while I can't share the exact revenue numbers just because I have multiple business partners in this venture, I can say that this blog made multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars in 2021, and I'm expecting 2022 to be an even better year. So this blog here went from being a smaller revenue source for myself back in 2018 to a much larger and substantial one here in 2022. So the fifth revenue stream here is another YouTube channel that I also own a part of, and that is the Investing Simple YouTube channel. So initially when I started this blog, it was myself and one other business partner named Ed Canty, who is a friend of mine from high school, but we actually decided to bring on an additional business partner to help out with a couple of things, one of which was the rollout of the Investing Simple YouTube channel. So we started this at the end of 2020, got the channel fully monetized in a very short period of time, and now this is a decent revenue stream for us to basically, earn money from. Essentially, we wanted to diversify a bit and make sure we had many different forms of content over on our blog. So what we did is we took a lot of our best performing articles and turned them into videos, and then we're able to embed those videos right into our blog. Now, while this channel only gets about 1,000 views per day, since it is in the finance space and CPMs are quite high, it is still a pretty decent moneymaker. Not to mention, most of the revenue from this channel is earned from affiliates, which is essentially where we earn a commission when somebody signs up for a given brokerage platform or investment platform, etc. Now, this channel I can show you the revenue for, so let's go ahead and jump in and I'll show you how much money this channel made in ad revenue in 2021. And here we have the Investing Simple channel itself here, guys. As you can see, it only has, just under 4,000 subscribers. It's really not a crazy big channel, but it just goes to show you that these smaller channels can actually be pretty decent money makers. So over the last 28 days, this channel has made about $540 in ad revenue. But let's take a look at the entire year of 2021, which was basically the first full year that this channel was in operation. So in 2021, just from the ad revenue, this small channel here made $6,215.58. Now, when you factor in the affiliate revenue as well, this channel makes around $2,000 per month. Now, lastly, my sixth revenue stream is my latest blog, which is farmlandriches.com. This is a blog that I launched myself at the end of 2020. This year, I actually took on some strategic business partners, so I now only own 30% of this blog, but we have been able to scale it up quite substantially, so it has had that trade-off where even though I own less of it, it is making a lot more money. So earlier in 2021, this blog was earning around $2,500 per month, but we've been able to roughly triple that in the later part of 2021 and into 2022. And even though the site only gets around 12,000 hits a month, it is still a huge moneymaker because it is such a niche-specific blog covering farmland investing. So this blog is totally related to investing in farmland, and it covers a lot of different ways of doing this and reviews many of the different online farmland investing platforms. The site is monetized by affiliate links as well as a site-wide sponsor. So here's the Farmland Riches blog here, guys. If you want to check it out, there's going to be a link down in the description below to this blog as well as investingsimple.com. If you are looking to learn about farmland investing, not to toot my own horn, but there are a lot lot of really awesome resources over here, but at the end of the day, it's really a pretty simple blog here with only about 40 articles, but it does has so far been, a pretty decent revenue stream. So anyways, guys, those are my 6 revenue streams right now in 2022 at the age of 26. So obviously, guys, some of those revenue streams that I had in 2018, such as digital products, are no longer a major revenue source for myself, and that is largely just because of the fact that it's really not my favorite business model. I much prefer making money from blogs and affiliate revenue and things like that. Now, of course, I'm going to continue building out different revenue streams in the future, because going back to that oil well analogy, you never know when a given revenue stream is going to dry up, so you always want to make sure you have multiple revenue streams. That being said, I don't think I'm going to be buying any more rental properties. Overall, I have found owning real estate to be quite a headache, honestly, and it takes a lot of my time away from my businesses, whereas if I was just focused on my business versus messing around with managing real estate, I would probably actually make more money. Now, in addition to diversifying my revenue streams, I've also been diversifying my investments across many different assets. And one of the largest investments I've made over the last few years is a few investments into some startups. Now, 4 of these startup investments are in the fintech space, and one of them is in the cybersecurity space. So I've made a total of 5 startup investments. Now, I can't share exact valuations with you guys, but what I can tell you is that I invested about $100,000 across these startups, and a few of them have grown substantially in their valuation. So now that investment is collectively worth just shy of $500,000, which is quite awesome. However, this is a, startup investment. This is not a liquid investment, and obviously, they're going to have to be acquired or have a, public offering in order to have an exit, but I will certainly keep you guys posted on how that is going. If you guys want to see a full video where I go through my different startup investments and share as much detail as possible, let me know down in the comment section below, and also drop a like on this video. If enough people are interested, I will be sure to put that video together. But anyways, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it's also been motivating as far as, how it may take a couple of years, but you can, even as a younger person, build up multiple revenue streams, especially leveraging online businesses. But thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell for future notifications. And as always, I hope to see you in the next video.